Welcome back to Cards and Comics. Today I'm going to be doing my second Weird Things in My Collection video, part 2. And this one is kind of fun because this is some stuff I've just kind of, again, uncovered going through my collection. And the one thing that makes this really fun is in my first video I ever made, I talked about collecting comic book art. And then 398 videos later, I have not shown, I think, any art. So here's some art from my collection. Just some things I have that's kind of odd. So first up here is this Clay Dalrymple, Ramona Flowers, Scott Pilgrim custom art. I'll see if I can get it more in frame here. You can see the whole piece. Pretty amazing piece, really. I mean, it is super awesome. It looks like it could be a cover of a really cool issue of Scott Pilgrim if it was in more of a traditional comic book style. Just really awesome art, and I'm a big Scott Pilgrim fan. For anyone who hasn't been on the channel very much, Scott Pilgrim is my favorite, not only comic book story, but movie as well. I think it's the best adaptation of a comic book ever made. So love Scott Pilgrim, and this is Ramona Flowers, and I have a lot of Scott Pilgrim pops. Get one here. And the weird thing about Scott Pilgrim is the pops are worth a lot of money. Like, nothing from Scott Pilgrim is worth anything except for the pops, and so they're actually kind of hard to get, and they're expensive. Next weird thing I have in my collection is I found this, and I have no clue what this is. But I guess it came from Allen and Ginter, and it was like a box topper. So this is Currency of the World. And maybe I'll try to make it a little bigger there. There we go. Currency of the World. And yeah, it's a coin from Spain, and they're number 17 of 50. But I have this giant thing. I guess I've had it for a while. This looks like a 2012 product. So this is like 11 years old. And it's just been floating around, sitting in a box, or, just kind of, running around my collection. So just kind of a weird thing to have. Now, the next couple of items I'm going to show are really, really interesting. We'll get into them a little bit, because this came from a weird time period for Topps. And this is when Topps was doing their, their vault. Remember the Topps vault? So, oops, here we go. Sorry about that. Keep hitting my camera. So this is something from Topps vault. And I'll try to get the glare so it's not quite so bad. It's hard with these lights and stuff to get things to not be all glary. But anyway, I'll try. But here we go. Maybe just do it like this. So this is really weird. I have this. So I have two of these, so I will show them both. So this is from 1979 Topps, and I'm a big, collector of Mike Webster. I haven't really added much to the Webster collection in a while because he just doesn't have much to collect. But so this is what came from Topps in this package, and you got the certificate of authenticity. Kind of beat up. It had a card in it. So it says, "We hereby certify this 79 original proof card of Mike Webster to be certified authentic Topps memorabilia that has been purchased directly from the vault." And so they came in little baggies. I mean, it's definitely not Topps project level packaging in the day. And you can see they're just like blank back cut. So, I mean, I think these are from they're printer proof. I do believe that. I do believe Topps had, the original proofs when they were doing the QC on the sheets before they cut them, and they probably stuck them in a folder somewhere. So maybe they cut the sheets up and, put them in these, you got these Topps Vault, let me see, stickers on the holder. And then the next one up is, I guess, the magenta, and here's, like cyan and blue. So you got the two different colors here, but they're not stamped 101, so they're not. I mean, could they've had 20 printer sheets? I don't know. I don't know how many of these things are. They didn't say 101, but it was something I saw. And Topps Vault used to be on eBay selling stuff, and I'm not sure they still do this. But it's just kind of weird that I have this. And this isn't the only one I got. So then I have another one. So I have another one here. Oops. Things are falling over here. Another weird one. So this is the same. This is the same card. And so we'll see what this one says, because I haven't looked at these in forever. So you guys are seeing this kind of. I just saw these packages. I'm like, oh, okay. Wonder what this is. So this says 3-card uncut strip to be certified authentic memorabilia from the. So this is a 3-card uncut strip, and so we've got. So this has actually got the backs. So. Pretty interesting here. Got Webster, Zenon and Drushin, and Cleveland Elam. So it'd been kind of cool if there was like multiple Hall of Famers on this card, but there's not. So we got the Mike Webster, and it's got the back, and I've got their certificate. The question is this worth anything? Are these even special? Like, did Topps make like thousands of these? And they're almost like, just little promotional items they did, or is this like literally a 101? I mean, it could literally be, this is the only one they made, or there's thousands of these. I think there's no really in between on these. So another weird thing I own. Next up is something I won, and you'll see this has got a certificate as well. So, so we'll start with their certificate on the back so you can read it. It says, "Congratulations, you have received an original hand-drawn, one-of-a-kind preliminary illustration by Simon Bianchi from the 2018 Marvel Masterpieces. Please keep the COA as verification of your original art. And the COA is manufactured with anti-counterfeit technology, blah, blah, blah." So this is a preliminary sketch from Simon Bianchi. And here we go. It's Quasar. So I may have shown this in a video once in my life, but it's signed Simon Bianchi, and it's got 2018, and then it's got kind of the Quasar and, like different, I don't know why the letters are separated there. I don't know if there's going to be more drawing there. But this is the preliminary sketch, and these were like big time redemptions in 2018. In fact, I had some folks offer me some pretty good money, and I just redeemed it because I'm stupid. And I should have just taken the money, because I'm not sure Quasar is much of a collected character. I'm sure Simon Bianchi art is worth something. But since I've had this piece and I've talked about it to other Marvel collectors, no one has told me it was worth anything in terms of like, oh yeah, those things are all worth like a couple $100. It's always been like, oh, that's weird. Because it's Quasar. No one really collects them. 2, I think 2018, the Simon Bianchi set was pretty popular. And I've seen some of these things listed, but I've just never seen anything in this range sell. But I've never had anyone actually make an offer after they've seen what, before when it was a redemption, yes, but now that it's a real card or a real sketch, no one seems to want this one. So kind of crapped out on this one. Honestly, but I mean, if someone's very interested in this, I would definitely be looking to move it, because it's just sitting in my art gallery collecting dust and below my worktop here. So so it's just been sitting there for now 5 years, just kind of collecting dust. So we'll move into some unopened stuff that's kind of weird that I have. Some it's kind of cool, but just stuff that I had in a box that I finally just kind of went through. And first one up is, again, the 93 Topps Batman. So I opened a box on my channel, and then I got this box pretty cheap because it's kind of damaged. You can see it's smashed in. It's not a great box. It's still sealed. And, I love the fact they had the original price tag. And I like the fact that I don't know why someone picked cost retail. Like, I don't know, no one that does that. That's not how you label things. Like, you just did that, right? You don't, like, it cost me $28.15, but I'm selling it for $40. Like, no, it's that, but this is a lot more expensive than $28 now, $28.15, and it's a lot more expensive than $40. You get about I'd say you average about 3 Harley Quinns and Poison Ivies a box. So, or Jokers, about 3 per. So, obviously, I graded mine and they all came back 9s. So not a lot of, chance, I think, to get a lot of 10s. I think they're very difficult cards to get 10s on. The 10s are worth something if you can get them. Next up is my terrible experience buying Magic cards. So I do have some unopened Magic, and I would just show you the one that is the weirdest. I have no clue why I even own this. This is a box of Dark Ascension. It's like crazy I have this box. Like, I should just sell it, but no one really wants it, and it's like more trouble than it's worth probably to sell on eBay right now with, how everything's kind of going with an open right now. And I feel like I don't really want to open it either. I just feel like it's just going to collect dust on my shelf for like another 10 years. But yeah, I have a box of Dark Ascension for no real reason other than at one point maybe I thought all unopened Magic product was worth something and thought it was cheap. I don't know, but I have it. Next up is something that is actually pretty cool, and I found it at a sports card store and bought it with the intention of opening it up, but I just never did. And so I don't know if I'll ever open it. In fact, you tell me in the comments if you want me to bust it and you guys want to see what it looks like. But this is a 52 top. So this came out in 1983. And it's the first time they ever reprinted the 52 top set, which they've gone back and they've done some cards again and multiple products. 2001 Heritage would have been the first time they kind of did the set kind of style again. And I believe there was some throwback cards in that set, but there you go. This is the full set. You do have the Mickey Mantle. You have the Eddie Matthews. You got we got the checklist on the back. So you got everything in here. And so there's a Mantle and Jackie Robinson and Willie Mays and Eddie Matthews. So, and these are official, like, I believe the reprints are, the real deal. So in terms of just, they didn't make tons of these sets. So I don't think this is like, there's hundreds of thousands of these sets. There's probably 20 or 30,000 of these made, maybe 50. I don't know. But it's just kind of cool. And these do, in PSA 10, these do sell pretty well. These reprints, because again, they're now, 40 years old. So they're still pretty rare. You don't see them very often. So that's a complete set of 83 tops, the 52 tops reprint set from 1983. So very odd. Next up was something I picked up a long time ago, probably before COVID, I'm going to think. But here's a 91 Stadium Club football set or box. And it's got the BBC wrap on it. And you can see the sticker on the back. So it's got the full Steve Hart stickering on it. So so I thought, I would bust this at some point, just kind of have a product like this, because I really like Stadium Club. I was going to get a box of baseball, a box of football, a box of hockey, and just have all 3 of them, and you got the Favre rookie and all that. But I know for a fact, odds are this is going to be bricked up. So is it even worth, even busting open? Now the Brett Favre is kind of tanked a little bit in value. I don't know. I think it's just probably better to leave it like this. So I've got all this unopened stuff that I thought I was going to open at some point or sell, and I just never have. And now it's just kind of sitting, collecting dust. And the last 2 things I got to show you are little, I'm reaching over here. I'm sorry, behind me to grab it. The first one is, again, another interesting box that I intended to open, but I'm still I just don't know if I want to because of what it is. So this is the Batman and Robin Skybox set. Now I opened the Kingdom Come box, right? And the Kingdom Come box is pretty rare. It's like that box doesn't come up for sale very often, and neither does this. There are some really interesting things in this product. There is autographs. So you can see right here, it says look for autographs. And I believe on the box it tells you somewhere, what the odds are. It doesn't actually tell. Oh, so 1 in 360, I believe. Yeah. So you're going to get one autograph in 10 boxes. And so you got Arnold Schwarzenegger, George Clooney, Chris O'Donnell, Uma Thurman, Alicia Silverstone, and Joel Schumacher. So there's not, I guess you could say Chris O'Donnell is your worst auto. But after that, the worst auto is like maybe Schumacher or Alicia Silverstone. The top two autos in this product, George Clooney and Arnold, are worth a crap ton of money. They're pretty rare. There's like one or two of these cards that's been sold in the last couple of years. So, yeah, if you pull one of those guys, or I've got the Uma Thurman. In fact, she's on our way to Tops PSA to get graded right now. Actually, I'm actually sending that one in. I would love to complete the set. This is probably one of the Grail autograph sets for DC collectors. Is this product right here? But 1 in 10 boxes for the auto. And I went on YouTube and looked at box breaks. I've never seen anyone pull an auto. So it's not like, oh yeah, like it says 1 in 10, but it's really like more like 1 in 5. No, I think it's 1 in 10. And from what I've heard, is that even inside of the 1 in 10 boxes, the Clooney and the Schwarzenegger were even short printed inside of that. So like getting those two is even harder than the other autos. So I think it's just not worth the risk of busting the box. I think this is one of those things that if DC cards ever take off, or just it is cool autos of really famous actors. That maybe 20 years from now the box is worth something, or I could bust it now and roll the dice and try to get one of those autos. Let me know in the comments what you think I should do with this box. Now, I'm deathly afraid of selling it. The reason I got this box and I got a good deal on it is because it's partially open right there. It's torn. Now, I don't think there's any packs missing, and believe me, 1 or 2 packs missing wouldn't even matter unless the person just got insanely lucky and got the auto, because this is, again, 1 in 360 packs. You're not going to just bust a pack and get an auto very easily at a product like this. So, weird product. I know I should have probably opened it just to have some fun on the channel, but after my experience with the Kingdom Come product, where it was literally, the same cards over and over, and just 36 packs is a lot of packs to go through to get the same cards over and over with no real hit. The hit in that product was obviously Alex Ross. There was Alex Ross autographs in that product, and did not hit one of those. So it's just a really boring rip, and I'm just afraid of it being just another one of those really boring rips with cards that no one cares about. And and then at the end of the day, I don't, I wish I would just kept the box sealed. So that's second to last. And the last thing we'll go over, my weird pile of crap I have that doesn't make sense, but I have, is this little guy. Now, I don't do a lot of toys. I've shown a few toys on the channel. This one's pretty cool. Now I'll go through kind of like 3 stories here about this, why I have it, why it's cool. And, so when I was a kid, I loved Robotech as a TV show. It's like my favorite all-time show, because it's the nostalgia thing that I crave. As a kid, I loved the show because it told a serialized storytelling. People died. It just like blew my mind. And I know it's a combination of all these different animes, and it was, Carl Masick's The Devil, all this other crap, but it made a big impression on a lot of kids. It's everyone in my generation, that 85 to 90 time period, gateway into anime. and cooler stuff that came down the pike. So yeah, it's like and so this was the toy line that came out from Matchbox did some really terrible things. So let's talk about the toys. So they had regular size action figures, like the Star Wars size action figures. They did all these toys, but when they did the one thing that was cool as hell, which is this Veritech, the transforming robot, they didn't make it transform. And I believe there was some rights issues because the original toy was licensed to Transformers because that's Jetfire. And so they couldn't make a transforming Veritech for Matchbox, couldn't do it because of the rights issues. So they made this little toy, these kind of deformed, I think we now would call them like a deformed Gundam type toy, to kind of get around that. But this was the only real Matchbox Veritech that actually transforms. So you can see on here that it transforms, into the Guardian and Battleoid mode. So this was the only way to get a transforming Veritech in the U.S. when I was a kid. So this was it. And so let's so that was something. Now as a kid, without internet, you didn't really know this kind of stuff. But I do know, like, I saw this at a Target when I was a kid, and I really wanted it. And of course, it's like, your parents like, it's, your birthday, whatever, you just got to wait. And of course, they didn't, remember it. So, and of course, this is like something that was probably on the market for like a month before it went away. So of course, it, wasn't around 3 months later when it was my birthday or my, or for Christmas. So it didn't really matter, I wasn't going to get it, but I really wanted it. But I saw it live in a store, and I was like, wow, this is really cool. And, I wish I bought it. So I've been hyper aware of this toy for a long time. And so I've always wanted to get it, but, I never did. It's actually kind of expensive, at the time, when I was, going back and, randomly I buy Robotech toys. I have a lot of the action figures. And so, but I just never went back and got this toy. And there's three of them. There's Myra, there's Max, so there's a blue version, a red version, the different color Veritech. So there's three of them out there. And I never went back and bought these because, for a while, these are, over $100, a couple $100, and they weren't in the boxes and things like that. So they're, so it's hard to find a good one. And this one's not in that great of shape in terms of box wise, but it's still in the box. And so it's still cool that it's still complete, it's in the box. So, but when this one came up for sale, it had a different thing going on with it. It wasn't because it was just this Robotech, figure. It was because Carl Masick was selling all of his stuff. So this has happened a few times to me on eBay, and other people have similar stories. But Carl Masick basically sold all of his memorabilia, everything on eBay. And this came with a letter, and I still have the letter filed somewhere. I got to find it. I tried to find it for this video, but I couldn't. So hopefully I didn't throw it away. I moved 3 times since I bought this. So I'm sure it's somewhere in a box somewhere or in a file cabinet or somewhere. But I have the letter from Carl Masick stating that basically this was his, the copy that Matchbox sent him. So he got a copy of every toy that was made from Matchbox directly. And though this was his, version, this is the one he had. And so he had all the toys, he had all the Robotech stuff because he was the godfather of Robotech. So I have a letter that says, and I bought it on eBay from Carl Masick directly, with a letter saying that this was Carl Masick's personal copy and only copy that was sent directly to him from Matchbox. So that's why this is a little bit cooler than a normal Robotech, super deformed Veritech fighter. But could Masick have been lying to me? Could he just, had a bunch of these laying around and sent a letter to 40 people? I don't know. I bought it. It was cool. And the thing that's funny about it is I have a few other things like this. Like I have a album, a bolt thrower album that was I bought in a charity auction on eBay when Chuck Schuldiner from Death, the guitar player and the singer from the band Death and Control Denied, was dying of, I think, cancer. He was in the hospital. They did this benefit for him. And so they sold off a lot of his record collection, and I bought his copy of Bolt Thrower's Mercenary. So that was really cool. Not that he was sick and dying, but it's just, the fact that, I kind of have a piece of sort of his collection. It's cool. Now later on, years later, it's just kind of like something that, is tangible that Chuck Schuldiner touched, is in my collection. And I don't have a big record collection. But that's very similar to this, and then the third thing I remember is, Tim Solt of Clutch, who's one of my favorite bands, sold all of his guitars and his gear, at one point. I don't know why. But you could have gone on eBay and bought his amp, his guitar, his pedals. So like Tim sold a bunch of his old stuff. And so I actually really wanted to buy some of that stuff, but it went crazy prices. Like Clutch has a lot of fans. So I couldn't touch any of that stuff, but I do have a record from Chuck Schuldiner, and I do have a Robotech toy from Carl Masick. So there it is, guys. It's my weird stories from weird stuff in my collection. Hope you like it. And I'll see you next time on Cards and Comics. Bye.